Good evening, everyone. My name is Seth. Thank you very much for tuning into my channel here at Moose Plaid Mountain. If you have ever carried a Victorinox Swiss Army Knife or a multi-tool, but not exactly sure how to start or how you want to start with your simple EDC everyday carry that actually has the true potential to help you in the best way possible, this video is for you. And I hope that you like the content here that I give today. If so, please consider to subscribe, press the like button, and I welcome your comments and input after I do this video, okay? In this video, I picked 9 easy to learn 91mm Swiss Army knives that cover habits that I feel like you very well could be using most, okay? Such as opening packages, tightening screws, cutting tags, and small little fixturing, okay? I'll also show you what to use and how to use it safely. And at the end of showing all these knives, I'll even show you a bonus feature if you'll stick with me until the end of this video. So without further ado, let's jump in. All right, so first and foremost, we have a great starter knife. One of the top ones that I consider very good and robust. It is the Pioneer Alox. Okay, right here, you have the Pioneer Alox. It is a thin, tough, little classy knife. Okay, it comes with your large blade. It also, and instead of having a smaller blade, it also comes with a reamer, a little reamer awl. Okay, aside from that, you have a large, effective, and very precision pair of scissors that Victorinox is known for. Okay, alongside your can opener and bottle cap opener. One of the particular reasons why people are very attracted to the Alox knife is not solely because of its tough and classy design, but if you also notice, this tool in and of itself is actually about 50% thicker than your standard little tool that you get on a Celador version. It's about 50% thicker, give or take, okay? So if you need that, if you're somebody who requires that extra strength and wants to have a little bit of class and very firm functionality, then the Alox is for you, okay? It is the perfect companion for you as you do your simple little tasks on a daily basis and you have class doing it, okay? And despite the fact that this is a tad bit thicker than your standard Celador knife here, it has maintained a very legendary reputation for being incredibly durable, which is why a lot of people are attracted to the Alox knife, okay? Secondly, we have let me see if it's this one, right here, the Serrated Spartan, okay? So the Serrated Spartan has the exact same tool layout as your standard Swiss Army Spartan, just the difference, as you could tell by the name, you have a serrated blade instead of a straight blade, okay? Which comes with, there we go, okay. Which comes with your can opener, your flathead screwdriver bottle cap opener, and wire stripper that you have right there, okay? Small blade and serrated blade, with your back tools being a corkscrew and your awl, okay? This is a great little starter knife for a lot of people who want to get into EDC. Me personally, I tend to carry this knife with me, particularly if I know that I have a knife with me that already has scissors. Usually I have it every once in a while. I will carry this when I have my Swiss tool with me in my pouch because my Swiss tool does have scissors, okay? So that is the Swiss Army, that's the Swiss Army Serrated Spartan, and of course I'm going to use that as for the Spartan as well, okay? Then you go for the layer up, which is the Victorinox Climber. The Victorinox Climber is one of those classic little winners that have been around for decades. If anyone saw my last video, this is one of Victorinox's best-selling flagship models that was released back in, what was it, the mid-80s, I believe is what I said. Can't remember off the top of my head. So it has been several decades in being a top seller for a lot of people for just a wide variety of usages, okay? Your can opener, your flathead screwdriver bottle cap opener and wire stripper, okay? And then of course on your backside you have your small blade and your large blade, okay? And then of course what makes it the climber is that was the year they released the large pair of precision style scissors, okay? So this is a great little knife. What's great about these knives is that they have a very competitive price point. They're not expensive, they're very handy, and you get your money's out of them in every sense of the word, okay? After the climber, you used to have the Victorinox Mountaineer. Victorinox Mountaineer essentially is everything that the climber has with an added, not that one, I bet, with an added metal file to it. Now people know that I absolutely love this metal file. I do it for a lot of superficial filing on woods and hard plastics, right? Which is a very effective tool for me and very handy to have. But also its other uses that I find very, very handy to use it for is micro screws on a screwdriver, right? Even as something as simple as you could actually get it in your glasses, okay? Which I do wear frequently. My latest usage for this was actually about an hour and a half ago when my son needed a replacement battery in his massaging toothbrush, right? We just popped open that screw and switched it out, okay? And so this is the Victorinox climber. Your back tools consist of a reamer awl, a parcel hook right here, okay? And you have your corkscrew, and of course, this is my personal one, so I got plus scales on it, but it normally comes just with your standard scales of a toothpick, or excuse me, tweezers and toothpick here, okay? After the Victorinox Mountaineer, we have the Victorinox, where are you, right here? No, not sorry, right here, the Victorinox Explorer, okay? The Victorinox Explorer is very, very unique because this was cutting edge addition to toolage that they did not have previously on any Victorinox, just as I discussed in the last video. The added allurement to this essentially was a Victorinox climber that had the adage of an inline Phillips and your magnifying glass, okay? And of course, anyone that watched my video, from the previous week knows that the closest toolage to this in its latest release is the Victorinox Huntsman Light, where they would have replaced the magnifying glass with a flashlight, okay? Essentially a little LED light. All that aside, this is a great little knife. Due to the fact that it has a magnifying glass and an inline Phillips, for any oddball little toolage that you may need that proves handy for tiny little kind of fiddle moments while you're kind of screwing and gadgeting around with what you need, okay? The magnifying glass, of course, is great for reading the small little print, such as, right, if you get something like this, right? You see, just kind of magnifies it very, very well, right? It's a very capable magnifier. When they first released this, I believe there were ×8. Now it's a ×5, which is, I think, a lot better, and you have a lot more control in magnifying just right how you want the image to go, okay? So that is the Victorinox Explorer. After the Victorinox Explorer, we have one of my absolute favorites, the Victorinox Compact. This is a great little knife for people who really want to be minimalist, but yet have enough simple capability in a very simplistic form as to being able to do simple problem solving of anything trivial and essentially anything that's of a non-threatening nature, right? Just to get them out of a little tight spot, all right? So if you're someone who is in the office that does a lot of pushing paperwork and pens, or sees yourself namely as a minimalist, right? The Victorinox Compacts comes with your standard blade right here, full-size drop point blade. It also comes with your large scissors right here, okay? Very sharp, precision scissors. It also comes with your 4-function combo tool, your flathead screwdriver, Phillips screwdriver, bottle cap opener, and wire stripper, okay? And on the back of the tools, you have some what I call added hygienic tools, such as something as simple as not only just a parcel hook, but if you look closely, there is a diamond coated file there, okay? So again, yes, you can tell this is a parcel hook, right? And you have your corkscrew, and this particular one has tinder and a fair seam rod in here, but normally what it would come with is a micro screwdriver with, of course, an added pin here in the back for pricking, for any needed necessities. And since this is the compact, it does come with plus scales, which means you would have your ballpoint pen right there in the side for any of your writing needs. Okay, all right. So this is a great little knife. This has saved me on several dozens of occasions. Okay, this isn't my personal one, but this is an extra one that I have that, you know, I just like it that much. I have an extra one, okay? So after the Victorinox Compact, we have one of my all-time favorites, the Victorinox Swiss Army Ranger. The reason why this is one of my favorites is because in some regards, this is kind of like a younger brother to the Mini Champ, okay? Because it crams a lot of toolage in relation to the price point that you pay for it. And which is why I think this is one of my all-time favorites, is because this has a tremendous amount of toolage for the price point. Okay, what it has is your standard Victorinox tools that come with a lot of your standard Celadors, and Alox, which is your can opener, your bottle cap opener, right? Next layer, you have your very sharp and precision scissors, okay? After that, the following layer, you have your wood saw, okay? Very capable for any outdoor usages. Or if anyone saw my food prep video, you could also use this for actually shredding cheese. It's actually a good little side function for it. Aside with a file, or also a micro pointed screwdriver as well, aside from your small blade and large blade. Now the back is where I think they really compact a lot into here. So you have your awl. After your awl, you have your parcel hook. Oh, let's get that forward. There we go. Okay, you have your parcel hook. After your parcel hook, you have your small flathead screwdriver in the back. Some people call this a dolphin head, and it makes sense why they call it that. Now, after that, you have your chisel. So you have 4 back tools. The only other Swiss Army knife that there's only, I think, 2 or 3 that have 4 back tools. So the first one that has, I think, the 4 back tools is the Swiss Champ. The other one that has, I think, at least 3 or 4, I have to double check, I don't have it down here with me, is the Handyman, is another one that has 4 back tools. And then, of course, the Victorinox Swiss Army Ranger. And the reason why I say this is because oftentimes, again, this has a very competitive price point. It's not as expensive as most people think. And that's why I think for people who like to tinker around and make sure they have a great, large, and well-prepped assortment of everything they could possibly need, I think the Swiss Army Ranger is almost as good as you could possibly get. Because if you go something like, say, the Victorinox Swiss Champ, which again, I have and I do carry it from time to time, it is slightly on the bulky side. So number one, you have to get used to it. The other one I like carrying is actually also the Handyman, but the one that I find myself feeling allured to more and more is the Victorinox Swiss Army Ranger, which is also why I put this on the list as a good starter knife. Okay, now the second to last knife that I have here is the Super Tinker Deluxe. If you want something that has something more of a mechanical feature to it that fits in your pocket, this is a good start. Okay, I particularly started carrying this with me when I started working at where I'm at now. Okay, because it deals with very tiny and small parts. So I have something like this little this little pair of pliers, which by the way, this did exhibit itself in one of my Facebook posts today that I posted, because of all the small little tiny screws I was holding. I had to, tack weld them into place and then weld carefully around them, and I can't, hold them with my fingers because the piece will get too hot too quick. So I had to use the pliers and just kind of hold it there, right? So in the current job I have, this guy has saved my skin on dozens of occasions. So if you are an individual who actually needs a more precision little plier grabbing on very small parts that you have to fasten or fixture, this is an excellent tool to have. I highly recommend it, okay? After this pair of pliers, essentially what you have is just as the climber. You have your two large blades, big blade, small blade, okay? Your precision, very sharp pair of scissors, right? Very sharp, okay? Large pliers, of course, and then of course your two Victorinox tools, the 3mm can opener and your flathead screwdriver, bottle cap opener, and wire stripper, okay? Along with your tweezers and your toothpick, okay? And this, because again, it's the Tinker, it comes with the Phillips driver as the back tool. And this one actually has two back spine tools, being the reamer awl and your partial hook, okay? All right, and now for the last one. I know this video is going a little bit too long and I've gone a little bit too quick. So if you have to pause the video to kind of captivate it all, it's okay, I understand. Going quick, I'm sorry. The last one I have here, this one's good. I'm going to use this more as a template. So this particular one is the Victorinox Work Champ. I use this actually also in a work setting. I keep it in, strangely enough, I actually keep this in my lunch bag. Particularly if I don't carry that one, I'll carry this one about, sometimes twice a week, just, to change things up a little bit. What you have here is essentially everything that you will have in the Super Tinker Deluxe, plus a little bit, plus also when it comes to size, okay? So what I like about this is that you have your full size blade, okay, for one. It is a locking blade, so for my dear friends over in the great UK, my most sincere apologies. This is not, you guys, I don't know if you're allowed to get this. Somebody was explaining to me that knives like this that have locking potential are automatically considered as weapons, and they don't sell anything that's considered weapons over there, which, again, my most sincere condolences, dear UK. I know you guys are responsible people over there. All right, so anyways, what it comes with, this one's compact in a very unique way. So first and foremost, you have the nail nick for the pliers here on the side, okay? Right there. Because the reason why is because behind the pliers, if I can pull it out, you have a smaller Phillips driver, 3-dimensional. All right, and I think that's very, very unique. Sorry if I'm out of frame. Okay, you have the small one. You can close these up. But then what's also interesting is that you have your scissors here, right? So you pull these ones up, the scissors, which are right here. And then you could pull this up here and you have a more finer point. A smaller, kind of almost as if it is micro pointed 3-dimensional Phillips driver, which this same type of Phillips driver would also work well on my son's, that screw that's on my son's toothbrush to change out the battery. This will also work very effective as well. That's the Alox screw, which is probably why they put it on there, to take care of those style and class of screws. Okay, so you have that full-size blade. What also you have here is, where's it at? Here it is. You have full-size file. You can tell I use this guy a lot. This is the tool that I use here at my house when I have to process pine branches that fall off my tree. Okay, so when me and my wife got this house, there's a pine tree in our backyard where all the branches just kind of grew straight out. And so a lot of the times during the windstorms, they just kind of break off. Luckily, the tree's not close to the house. It's about 40 feet away from the house. And these branches just break off like every year, like 3 to 5 of them all the time. And so I have to process these ones. And I've used this, as you can tell, a substantial lot to process the pine branches. Okay, so which is one of the main functions I use for the saw. Also, what you have on here, if I can find it, oh, there it is. You have full-size file, okay? Now, I will voice one particular small complaint about this file, even though it is very effective, it's very handy, and I like the fact that it's this long, is again, it's not like the file you say you have on your standard 91 millimeter, right? It doesn't come to a fine point. I wish it did. That's kind of my only small little complaint. I wish it came to a fine point, okay? So that being said, I'm not huge into it because I'm not huge into that complaint because again, as you can see, I have several knives that have that fine point on it. It's just one of those, would have been nice to have it on here, but it's not a deal breaker for me, okay? So that's essentially the entire tool set. On the back side here, you do have your awl, and that's really the only back tool you have, aside from having a corkscrew here with your good grief, your micro screwdriver in there, okay? So essentially that is the work. So these are the tools that I personally recommend when it comes to starting out, okay? If you're somebody that is looking for a good solid work one where you could kind of do a lot of rough and tough do-it-yourself stuff, and you don't necessarily need a large pair of pliers, but you just need something to mediocrely get you by, I think the Work Champ is an excellent option. Okay, if you're looking at something to kind of do some, again, general dinkering and tinkering at work and simple, trivial fix-it moments, right? Just to kind of get you by, these are all excellent options. Again, as you can tell, I have used all of them. All of these, particularly all the ones that have the little pocket clip on them, okay? And I recommend all of them, okay? Now, for the little bonus feature I wanted to share you, and now for the introduction for that, okay? So, with having a Victorinox knife, and the fact that it's built to last a very long time, a lot of little simple kind of annoyances that a lot of people have is just people saying it's easy to sharpen, okay? And it very much is, and that's due to the way essentially the steel of the knife blade files very quickly to create a very sharp edge, right? And so, but the question is, if you're also starting, how could you be consistent at creating a very solid, smooth, sharp edge on both sides of the blade as to hone in on a very precise, sharpened edge, okay? What is a way around that? Now, I'm going to show you the trick. One of my tricks that I use, okay? So I'm going to move all these aside and I'm going to show you this guy, okay? This is the rolling sharpener, okay? So this is something that I use to sharpen my knives, particularly if I know I'm going to do a substantial amount of cutting, okay? So normally what I use, oh good grief, I should have brought it for the video, is I have my little pen sharpener where it kind of opens up to a small little sharpening stone, and then you have your little cross piece, you know, that you draw the knife blade to its two ceramic pieces, right, that hone in on the blade. Usually I just use that, but when I know I'm doing a lot of cutting, I'll prep it with this really good for it takes about 2 to 4 minutes from start to finish, and you get a very, very effective and sharp blade. So here, let me show you how it works, okay? So first and foremost, unlike most complicated sharpening systems, this rolling sharpener is just as it states, okay? It rolls. And it has a little rubber gasket here to help it roll smoothly, right? And if you can tell, as you can tell, it's magnetic. And because most knife blades are not non-magnetic and still hold a certain level of magnetism because of the stainless steel that they are, okay? They'll hold itself onto the sharpener. So what I'm going to use is, what's one that I've used a lot here? Where's my, okay, no, not that one. I just sharpened that one. Okay, this one here. I've used this one a decent amount. This is my Super Tinker Deluxe, okay? So the knife blade goes there, and it needs to, and if you notice here, I'll try to show you. Try to keep it, the trick is you keep it as close to the top as possible because it's a small blade. See, this is normally designed for kitchen style blades where they stick up a little bit higher and it's easier to kind of roll sharpen. But since these blades are a little bit thinner, you kind of have to keep it propped up. And the way that I do that with this, I get 2 pieces of cardboard, that's usually more than enough, and I stick it right, here, let me see if I can get it in the frame here. I stick it right there, okay, so you can see that. I'm just gonna adjust it, just right. Okay, so it's right there. Okay, so now I have it adjusted. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is you just go plop, and make sure it's 20 degrees, okay, because all Victorinox blades, they are 30 to 40 degrees, okay? And 15 degrees is, in my opinion, dangerously too shallow, and so you'll be eating away more at the blade. So the 20 degrees is on the opposite side of that, where it's slightly too vertical. So if anything, you're going to create a elongated, more honing point, right, to the blade. So in theory, it will. That's how it becomes more sharp. So I keep my thumb here, where it keeps it propped up, okay, and I just go back and forth like this. You can see the stuff coming off already. Okay. All right, so there you go. So I have that off. So I'm gonna wipe it off real quick. All right. Then I'm gonna switch this around. I'm gonna bring this over here, bring this here, okay. Bring this right there like that, okay. And then I'm gonna put my finger here, put that finger there. It's getting it, you hear that? It's getting it just barely. Let's see if I can get that, there we go, right there. Okay. All right, so now let's test it with a piece of cardboard, okay? It's hard to do in frame. Let's see if I can do it again. It's hard to do in frame, but here's the one I did earlier. I'll show you with the same sharpener. This is my good grief, my Swiss Army Ranger. See that? You see how quickly it went through? Just went right through it, okay? Went right through it. You can tell how clean that cut is, okay? It's quite clean. So that's the method I wanted to show you. This is what I wanted to show you as well. This has been a lifesaver for me, especially if, again, if I have to process a lot of cardboard like I did the other day. I think I cut up, oh gosh, I think about 20 different boxes, but I did it all with my Victorinox Swiss Army Ranger here, okay? So again, everybody, starter knives. These are great. These are, I just wanted to thank you very much for watching this video. Please check out the content here in the video, okay, that I put in the comment section, okay. Consider what you like, what your needs are. Let me know what some of your needs are. I'll answer your questions as best as I can, okay. Again, check out these knives, look at them. If you like one, please get one, okay. I promise you guys will not be disappointed. It's always a great feeling to be the best hero of the moment that you can be, all right? And I appreciate you guys for watching this video, and I will see you all in the next one.